Aloha Council.
Aloha.
My name is Lauryn Rego, and I'm the Maui Organizing Manager for our Hawai'i. I work closely with Lahaina Strong, and I'm here today to share findings from a report I worked on together with Jordan and the team. I brought copies for you, and I'm going to go fast because there's a lot to cover. So we wanted to understand what the Minatoia list actually is, beyond a list of names. Over the past year, we looked closely at every Maui property on the list. The testimony today does not speak about Hana or Molokai believing those communities have the right to self-determination, and we would support upzoning if that's their choice after Bill 9 passes. We did 3 things. First, we pulled every document we could find, DCCA records, county records, anything publicly available. DCCA filings give a 10-year snapshot of owner occupancy, comparing 2015 to the most recent filings. Some properties saw a 40 to 60% drop in owner occupants. That's just the tip of the iceberg. We've been bleeding housing from these properties since the 90s and with the rise of Airbnb. Next, we looked at historical intent. We reviewed the original documents for over 100 properties, mostly papers from the 60s and the 80s, and asked, were these really intended to be vacation rentals? Only 2 properties were ever built primarily as visitor accommodations, Maui Ka'anapali Villas and Maui Schooner. They were hotel or timeshare from day one, and they're still operating that way. The rest were built primarily as residential dwellings. Some included vague or optional transient use, but always as the secondary use. Language like transients from time to time or temporary dwellings doesn't make it a hotel. That's boilerplate language, not a guarantee to run commercial activity in a residential zone. Lastly, we conducted in-person site visits to all 104 Minatoia properties on Maui. I'll let Jordan speak more about what we saw on the ground, but I want to say this. Only 9 looked anything like hotel operations, front desk, staffs, lobbies, amenities, etc. The vast majority basically dead. Locked offices, no staff presence, no guest services, just scattered units managed by different companies where guests let themselves in with a code and self-register their vehicles. That's not a hotel. So I want to say it plainly. The Minatoia list is not a list of complexes that were built primarily as visitor accommodations. They were mixed use at best, but the balance has been lost. What used to be residential dwellings have been swallowed up by investor takeovers, realtors with no guardrails, and a lack of political will to fix it. Pacific Shores, for example, was an affordable housing project in 1993. Today, there's a unit listed for $850,000. That story is playing out all over the island. Let's not let a handful of hotel-like STRs distract from the bigger picture. Over 90% of these units aren't operating like hotels. They certainly don't put our best foot forward as visitor accommodations either. Bill 9 is at its core a zoning issue, and it should be treated as such. With so few properties functioning like hotels or resorts, the Planning Commission is well equipped to evaluate any legitimate rezoning request on a case-by-case basis during the multi-year phase-out. We are urging you to pass out a clean version of Bill 9. No carve-outs, no exemptions. Any attempt to weaken this bill is a poison pill, and the community will see it as a vote of sabotage.
Thank you, Ms. Rego. Members, any questions for our testifier? Member Paulton and Member Hodgins have questions for you.
Thank you. I didn't get a chance to read all the 7, 9, 14 pages or so. But do you know how many of these 109 or so Minatoia properties have the mailboxes for like daily mail delivery?
I do have that data. I didn't include it in here, but most of what was really interesting when we went and saw them is because everyone's telling us these were always supposed to be vacation rentals. They're built with like this whole wall of mailboxes as an architectural feature when you walk in, which like really speaks to that people on vacation don't get mail. I don't think they were getting mail in the 60s. They're not getting it now. And I think that shows an intent.
Yeah, it would have been like airmail in the 60s. I remember my mom had like that thin paper so it wouldn't be so heavy, and like it was like a big thing to get mail over here because it was like you had to get special paper and everything. So I don't know how you would get that on vacation in the 60s, but okay, thank you.
Okay, Member Hodgins and then Member Rollins-Fernandez.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much for this. I just wanted to clarify, when you say closed, that doesn't mean like closed for business. That just means like you couldn't enter the property, the doors were locked. What do you mean by when you say like, closed?
Yeah, so like from Maui Sands to Kahana, there would be offices, but some of them look like Pakake looks like nobody ever opens the door ever, you know? They're not and this is Monday through Friday, regular business hours, where even sometimes there's posted hours that they're open, but like the blinds are drawn, like there's nobody on the property. They're not expecting anybody.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for
All
that
of Ma'alaya, same thing. And then, we kept notes on it, property by property, but
do you mind sharing that part with us? You can probably take out your personal notes, but just like that inventory of like what each of these look like, because that must have taken you guys a really long
yeah,
time.
it took a really long time. And there's, intentionally didn't want to necessarily put all of that
Okay,
out
that's fine.
there, but happy to like sit down and show you. And
Sure, that would be great.
For sure, happy to.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Sure. Member Rollins Fernandez?
Mahalo, Chair. Mahalo, Ms. Rego. This is an incredible amount of work. I don't think anyone else has actually walked to every property. So thank you so much for actually doing that physical labor of collecting this data that we can now speak more intelligently to instead of just hearing conjecture of repeated talking points. This is actual, actually pulled from, yeah.
It was a team effort, and it was conducted over a year.
Well, mahalo to the team. It's a lot of work. My question, so there are tiny font pieces
Yeah.
in black and white. Would you mind speaking to what those
Yeah, so
are?
those are screenshots of the historical documents. And just to show, just give examples of what that boilerplate language looked like. Some of it's like really vintage. It talks about servants and, things like that. So I wanted to just kind of show that place in time and what did transient mean in 1970? What did temporary dwelling mean? Like, I don't know that we can say clearly that meant what we have going on today, commercial businesses with guests.
So these are screenshots from the actual documents?
From the original documents.
The
We looked
original.
at them on every single property.
Mahalo. Okay, and then so it says like used for private dwelling purposes only, and no commercial or transient rentals shall be permitted. No unit shall be used for hotel or transient purpose. No advertising of transient rentals shall be permitted.
That's just a sampling too. We have, that language for every complex.
Okay, I think that will. I'm sure I'll have more questions. Okay, maybe we can have her as a resource or something. Because
Member
I don't know if
Fulton.
anyone else did this work. Yeah, Chair.
What is that?
Did anyone else do this work? Perhaps we can have her
I
as a
don't know.
resource later.
I'm not sure.
Okay, mahalo, Chair.
Member Fulton?
Thank you. Just like how Member Rollins Fernandez said, more questions come up as the more you read it. But I just was wondering if you have also reviewed the SMA permit applications for those Minatoya properties that lie within the SMA. That was how Maui Terraces got removed from that list. And so I was wondering if you went that deep, which is like 50 meters deep, if you ask me.
Sometimes we look at those documents, but we weren't looking at it through an SMA lens. But in the places where all those historic documents are kept, you find those things. You also find like building permits from the 50s or like hand scribbled, plumber bills. There's a lot of really great historical documents on every TMK in the county.
Thank you.